Hello and welcome to my review of Corswain, Paladin of the Ninth Order for Dark Angels for Warhammer the Horus Heresy from Forge World. Now this miniature will cost you £35 and is the same price as the recently released Marduk Cedras, Lord of the 23rd Order. They're both £35, which means that they are a little bit more expensive than the Dark Angels Legion Cataphracti Praetor and also the Legion Praetor. They're not quite as expensive as the Dark Angels Dreadnought and definitely nowhere near the £98 that Lionel Johnson is now selling for. I suppose if you didn't want to use him as Corswain, you could always use him as a Praetor. It still looks pretty cool. So the format of this video is I will have a look at the model up close. We'll go through the spare parts. You do get a different head, a helmetless head. We'll go through some size comparisons with Marduk Cedras and a load of other Dark Angels and Horus Heresy miniatures, and then we'll go through all of his rules. So firstly, the model himself. It comes with this little booklet. This is what he's going to look like when painted and things. You've probably seen this in the unboxing, and actually a little booklet showcasing all of the parts and kind of how to put him together. The numbers aren't really the order of which they go in, they are just the numbered parts, and as you can see there you get the two different heads. His sword is fantastic. It's called the Blade, they've even put that there. They give you a little bit of a guide about washing each part thoroughly with an abrasive brush, such as a toothbrush, to remove model releasing agent. It doesn't say anything about washing up liquid or warm soapy water or anything like that, but I think that they kind of assuming that you know all of that already. So that's a nice little guide. I always like to keep these for other miniatures. I've sort of got a top trumps selection of them now, I guess. So let's have a look at Corswain. I was super looking forward to this model ever since Marduk Cedras was announced. I just knew that we were going to get Corswain, and this model does not disappoint. It's absolutely beautiful. There's loads of detail everywhere. The power plant is pretty unique. The cloak has chainmail on the back of it. Yeah, might be more beneficial if you were to leave the cloak off and kind of paint that chainmail and things before you put it on him. I really like the armor. The scenic base is probably one of the worst parts of this. It's got a broken chainsword, I think, but it's not a big base. It's not a Sigismund, I'm standing on top of a Sakaran kind of base, and that's a shame because I would say Corswain is a close second in terms of close combat prowess compared to Sigismund, at least for the loyalist forces. I really like this Mark II, Mark III kind of iron armor with the knee guards that look like Little Knight faceplate helmets, faceplates. I think that's cool. I like the belt icon. He's got some keys, he's got a grenade, he's got some tassets, he's even got a bolter weapon behind him. It's really odd, isn't it, that a lot of these amazing duelists and things only carry around bolt pistols and bolt guns. I just find that a bit odd. You've got some writing there on the shoulder pauldron and the other shoulder pauldron. It's got Caliban. The vambraces are lovely. The sword called the Blade is fantastic. And his helmet option doesn't look silly. It's very nice. I like the wings. It is like an epitome of knights and of Dark Angels. I think it's very cool looking miniature. You know, and he's leaning forward. The only thing I'd change probably the base. Give him like some kind of special base. Give him some kind of bigger, more unique base. But other than that, I think it's very cool. Let's have a look at his spare head, which is just here. If we get this to zoom, come on you, where is he? There he is. Lovely looking head, similar to the lion's face, I would say, with that full beard going on, and he's got his hood. So you can give him that head if you don't fancy the awesome looking helmeted version, but do so at your peril. Luther will hunt you down for it. And now we're on to the size comparison. Have I got a treat for you today with the size comparisons? Firstly, let's compare him to a Thunderhawk gunship. This Dark Angels special character, it is larger than life. This is a plastic Thunderhawk, and you can just see he's bigger than a Thunderhawk. Okay, well, maybe he's not bigger than a Thunderhawk. He definitely looks cool running out of the Thunderhawk. I thought I would just show the Thunderhawk because that's what I'm building in the live streams right now. Let's compare him to some Dark Angels miniatures. So first off, the guy that I keep referring to, Marduk Cedras, right here in the Cataphracti Terminator armour. He's absolutely huge next to Corswain. I think part of that is to do with the scenic base, but they sort of both have scenic bases. You know, I'm trying to get them on the same level. But Marduk is definitely taller. So if you were planning on getting one or the other, you know, knowing that Marduk is the same price and has, I'd say arguably a cooler weapon that won't need to be heated and bent back like Corswain's sort of did. And he has a really cool looking plasma weapon, and I don't know about more detail on the plate. The cloak has less detail than Corswain's, only just though, and he's also got this funky little top thing as well, but he's going for the helmeted and hood combination accessory in his look. But that's where he stands next to Marduk. Marduk is in Terminator armour. You'd think Terminators are bigger, but in the grand scheme of things, they kind of aren't in some cases. Not all Terminator armour is made in the same way, I don't think. Anyway, moving on to another character that you all know and love, and that is the Night Lord's Last Stand Space Marine with the Volkite. Just showing you a side comparison next to him. Oh, sorry, there's another model here. Oh yes, it's the Lion. Let's just precariously remove him off this. This is probably going to fall off his cloak because I didn't glue it, because why would you? You know, you need to paint it and things. Right, so next to the Lion, it's almost like a "don't talk to me or my son ever again." The Lion is huge, but it's like a mini me version. It's cool. They're both holding their sword double-handed, which is the way to go. They both have this really cool armor, but of course the Lion has a lion on his shoulder pauldron, and to one up, the Lion's power plant has not 2 but 4 exhaust vents, because the Lion, he probably does get a bit hot, so needs all that adequate cooling. So that's where he stands next to the Lion. And then a couple more Dark Angels minis. So I've got a companion, I think, and I have a Praetor, and then I have a Interemptor. So if we just move these chaps to one side and have a look at the companion, it's, you know, it might be a cool idea to give him a companion. They're all in the Winged Helmet Club. This guy has very big wings, so he must be pretty important. But they share a lot of aesthetics, is what I'm getting at. They're really, really cool. My reviews for the Interemptors and companions and the Deathwing are coming. They will be coming very soon to the channel. I'm just putting that out there. Out of the Horus Heresy legions that I've completed, Dark Angels are first. Maybe because they are the first legion, but yes, that's where he stands next to one of those. And then an Interemptor. Interemptor is probably a little bit smaller, mainly due to that scenic base. And then you've also got the Praetor, which is a cool looking Praetor. It's got the wings, rocking the sideburn wings there, but Corswain's definitely bigger, taller. You can't really go wrong with either as a Praetor, but if you wanted that bigger, taller Praetor, you could use Corswain as him instead of the one with the shield. I still think the one with the shield looks quite cool as well. Okay, let's go through all of the rules for Corswain. You'll find him in your Liber Astartes or Loyalist Legion army book. Unlike a few of the other Dark Angels, which like to play games of hide and seek, all considered, he's quite easy to find near the front of the book. He is an HQ choice, and he's towards the end of the Dark Angels unit selection. He will cost you 200 points, and his stat line reads: he's a movement of 7 inches, weapon skill 7, ballistic skill 5, strength 4, toughness 4, 4 wounds, initiative 5, attacks 4, and leadership 10, and a save of 2+. More about his save a little bit later on. I know a few of you are screaming at the screen right now, super, how does he compare to Chapter Master Raldoron? Chapter Master Raldoron, he shares the same movement and weapon skill, ballistic skill, basically the whole stat line's the same except for number of wounds. He's got 1 less wound, but the devil is in the details in that Raldoron only has, well, he's got Warlord of Art, Chain of Wisdom, and the Encarmine Blade. And the Encarmine Blade, it's just not as good as the Blade. The Encarmine Warblade is a Strength +2 and an AP 2. It's Mastercrafted Shred, and it does have Murderous Strike, but the Blade has a load more other rules, and Corswain himself has more rules too. But comparing him to the legend that is Sigismund, I don't have Raldoron, but I do have Sigismund, and apologies that I never did a size comparison with him, but here is Sigismund right now, and you can just see, you know, Sigismund's awesome massive base there, scenic base. You can't go wrong with either of these two. I've completed Death Guard now, so Imperial Fist will be the next Legion I complete. I'll try and do that by the end of January. Okay, we had a little interlude there with Sigismund, but I think that was worth it. Sigismund does cost you more points though, but the stat line is very similar to Corswain. Corswain's is a little bit better at shooting. He's got a ballistic skill of 5 instead of Sigismund's 4, but they both have that weapon skill 7. Very, very spicy. Let's carry on with Corswain's rules, and then I'll just compare his rules to Sigismund. It's probably better if I do it that way around. Corswain has a bolt pistol and a bolter. It's got the blade, armour of the forest, and the mantle of the champion. Frag grenades and crack grenades. Unit type is infantry, unique, character, Deathwing. Special rules: Legiones Astartes, Dark Angels, Master of the Legion, independent character, relentless, precision strikes 4+, loyalist, warlord, Marshal of the Crown. Marshal of the Crown for Deathwing, if chosen as the army's warlord, Corswain automatically has the Marshal of the Crown Deathwing warlord trait and may not select any other warlord trait. Super, can you just refresh my memory on what on earth the Marshal of the Crown is? A warlord with this trait must select one of the Hexagrammaton unit subtypes, or units that include at least one model with the corresponding unit subtype and at least one model with the line of sight to the warlord. Gain +1 leadership to a maximum of 10. In addition, an army whose warlord has this trait may make an additional reaction in a phase of the opponent's turn dictated by the Hexagrammaton unit subtype possessed by the warlord. Deathwing, Dreadwing, Assault Phase, Stormwing, Ironwing, Shooting Phase, and Ravenwing, Firewing, Movement Phase. This additional reaction may only be made as long as the warlord has not been removed as a casualty. So that gives you an idea there. Okay, moving on. So, the blade. How cool is this weapon? Well, it's a melee weapon and it's a strength +2, so that's a strength 6. AP is 1. Now that is fantastic. Sigismund's Black Sword is only an AP 2, so it's a better armour penetration than that. It's a two-handed, mastercrafted, Duelist's Edge 2, Murderous Strike 4+. So you've got 4 attacks there with a strength of 6, with an AP of 1, and a 50-50 that you're going to kill things outright, except for those pesky Primarchs. The Black Sword, instead of having Duelist's Edge and Murderous Strike of 4+, it just has instant death. However, what sets Sigismund apart from Corswain is his Dolorous Fighter special rule, whereby in a challenge, successful invulnerable saves taken against Sigismund's attacks must be re-rolled. So you're forcing other characters to re-roll their past invulnerable saves, which is something that Corswain can't do to other characters. Other characters will take their invulnerable saves and that's it. They get to keep what the results are, whereas Sigismund forces that. And when you think that other characters' invulnerable saves, normally they've got Iron Halos, which are 4+, they could fail a few. And if they fail one, it's instant death with Sigismund. And that's what sets him apart with Corswain. Now, the armour of Corswain, which is called the Armour of the Forest and the Mantle of the Champion, grants him a 2+ normal and a 4+ invulnerable, but that's improved to a 3+ against close combat attacks. Now, Sigismund, he doesn't have any fancy armour, which is a bit of a shame. He just has his normal 2+, and then he's got a 4+ invulnerable Iron Halo. So Corswain has that better invulnerable save in combat and a better armour penetration for the blade, but Sigismund has that instant death black sword, and you're forcing the other, and you're forcing your opponent to re-roll past invulnerable saves. So they're very similar, but I just give, no pun intended here, the edge to Sigismund. If you were, I don't know, if you're basing a whole legion on one specific character. I just like Marduk Zedras way more than Pollux, and I like the Lion more than Dawn. So for me, it was a easy decision. However, I'm also in a great position where I'm collecting Imperial Fists too. Anyway, what do you guys think of Corswain for the Dark Angels? I want to say a big thank you to your patience waiting for this review to come out. The Death Guard Praetors reviews will be coming out next, so make sure you hit that subscribe button and enjoy all of the daily content. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for watching. The Emperor Protects.